The La family, nestled in their humble village, lived a quiet life, occasionally using their gentle grey mule for trips to the county town. Today, however, was anything but ordinary. A sudden, urgent piece of news had La Tongue hastily saddling the mule, his face grim with unspoken words. With a quick leap and a gentle prod, he spurred the faithful animal towards the village gate, carrying the weight of an unexpected announcement that would change everything. The news was almost unbelievable, spreading through the La household like wildfire. A powerful Marquis from the capital, a figure of immense prestige, had arrived bearing lavish gifts and spoke of an ancient betrothal, a promise made long ago, now suddenly resurrected. Even though his words held a ring of truth, the sheer magnitude of the event left everyone stunned, struggling to reconcile the grandeur with their simple lives. The family's future hung in the balance. Barely an hour later, the familiar sound of hooves heralded La Tongue's swift return. But he wasn't alone. Trailing closely behind his mule was an elegant, lacquered carriage, its presence a stark contrast to the rustic village path. Inside were La Lan, the eldest daughter, and her husband, Bui Han Thursday, who had been on their way back to his home after settling some urgent affairs in the county town. The carriage door slowly opened, revealing their surprised faces. Upon hearing La Tongue's breathless tale of a marquis from the capital seeking an engagement for her younger sister, La Lan and Bui Han Thursday were left speechless, their plans forgotten. Before her husband could even perform the customary greetings, La Lan rushed forward. She positioned herself protectively in front of him, as if shielding him from an uncertain storm, her eyes burning with an intense mix of curiosity and apprehension as she turned to her parents. "Is he truly a marquis from the capital?" La Lan's voice, though tinged with awe and a hint of anxiety, demanded an answer. Her father, La Dine Nguyen, nodded slowly, his own heart still reeling from the unexpected turn of events. "Indeed. He showed me his title plaque and imperial gold, a gift from the emperor himself. These cannot be faked," he affirmed, though a shadow of unease still lingered in his eyes, reflecting the sheer improbability of it all. The Marquis, Tu Vin, hadn't displayed his credentials out of arrogance. Years of absence and his sudden reappearance made him fear the La family might suspect him of deceit, perhaps even kidnapping their beautiful daughter for sale. In these tumultuous times, scams were all too common, and he needed to prove his legitimacy beyond doubt, to ease their worries and establish trust, for the sake of an old promise. With the confirmation, La Lan let out a long, shaky breath, the tension easing slightly from her shoulders. "Kin Tan, Fu Hao." The words echoed in her mind, a symphony of distant grandeur and glittering possibilities. The capital and a marquis's estate, these were realms far removed from their humble village, yet now, they felt dazzlingly close, stirring a profound sense of wonder and perhaps, a flicker of longing within her heart. Soon, the entire family gathered in the main hall, a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty filling the air. La Lan settled beside her father, her questions precise and numerous. She wanted to know every detail, what Tu Vin had said, his demeanor, how he broached the subject of the engagement. Every single word was important, as if she could piece together the full, intricate picture from these fragments and understand the true nature of this sudden proposal. La Dine Nguyen patiently recounted his conversation with Tu Vin, detailing each exchange. As he spoke of the Marquis mentioning a past battlefield, his voice unconsciously slowed, and a complex, distant look flickered in his eyes, hinting at forgotten pains. La Lan listened, her focus unwavering. She was not naive, though the thought of a marquis's estate quickened her pulse. She understood that marriage was a lifelong commitment, not merely about wealth or status. After hearing her father's full account, La Lan decided to see the gifts for herself. The Tu family's offerings were displayed in La Fu's western room, and they were indeed exceptional: fine wines, rare teas, fragrant spices, and silks so smooth they felt like flowing water. A quick mental calculation suggested their worth exceeded 200 silver taels, an astronomical sum for a humble village family, a clear display of the Marquis's sincerity. La Lan picked up a bolt of silk, its surface like liquid, shimmering softly in the afternoon light. The Marquis's generosity was undeniable, truly befitting a noble house. Then she turned to her younger sister, La Fou. La Fou's cheeks were flushed, and a soft, contented smile played on her lips and sparkled in her eyes. It wasn't just shyness, it was the quiet joy of someone whose long-held dream had just brushed against reality, a profound sense of satisfaction. Lalonde gently set the silk down and led her sister to sit on the edge of the bed. "It seems you are 100% agreeable then," she asked softly, a knowing smile playing on her lips. 8 years separated the sisters, and La Fou had always confided in her elder sister. Now, with a slight blush, she admitted, "He has a handsome appearance, and all other aspects are excellent too. Marrying him fulfills my deepest wish, and it means you won't have to worry about my marriage anymore." Lalonde, though happy for her sister, couldn't help but feel a pang of regret. "I wish I had stayed another night," she mused, "then I could have seen this meticulously chosen brother-in-law for myself, and how truly handsome he is." La Fou, still a bit shy, gently tugged at her sister's sleeve. "It's not settled yet, you should still call him third young master." But her lips curved upwards into an undeniable, delighted smile. Lalonde laughed, playfully pinching her sister's rosy cheek. La Fou, full-bodied and soft-skinned, a picture of youthful vitality, let her sister tease her, cherishing the moment. After a moment, she finally looked up, her gaze steady but her voice barely a whisper, laden with a fragile emotion. "Sister, this engagement was originally meant for you and the Marquis' estate. Do you mind?" The question hung in the air, not one of suspicion, but deep concern for her beloved sister's true feelings. It was a moment of profound vulnerability, testing the very core of their unbreakable bond. Lalonde gently took her sister's hand, patting her palm reassuringly. "What nonsense are you thinking? Am I truly that kind of person?" she asked, her voice firm but tender, erasing any doubt. "This betrothal between the La and Tu families was never about you or me specifically, but a verbal promise between our father and Marquis Tu. When Marquis Tu cut ties with our father, my connection with their eldest son vanished. This new proposal, brought by Marquis Tu for their third young master, is your destiny alone. How could I be envious? I only wish for you to find a truly good match." Her words, meant to etch themselves into her sister's heart, painted a picture of selfless love, promising a future of happiness.